They say these mountains are older than time itself, and that something ancient still stirs deep within. Most dismiss the stories as folklore, myths whispered between generations. But one man's journey would challenge everything he believed about fear, memory, and what lurks in the dark. This is the story of what happened to him in the Appalachian Mountains. It began in the fall. The man, let's call him David, needed a break from the noise of the city, the buzz of fluorescent lights, the weight of expectations. He drove hours out to the Blue Ridge stretch of the Appalachian Mountains, drawn by the promise of solitude. The fog was already thick when he pulled into the gravel lot near the trailhead. An old man at the gas station had told him to stay close to camp and never wander after dark. He'd laughed it off, but as David hiked deeper into the forest, he began to feel it, that sensation of being watched. The stillness wasn't peaceful. It was loaded. The birds would sing, then fall silent. Branches would snap, but nothing would appear. By the first night, he sat by the fire, remembering stories he once read. Stories of strange lights floating above Brown Mountain, just a few miles from where he sat. They were described as pale, glowing orbs drifting silently between the trees. Sightings dated back centuries. Some said they were spirits of lost souls, Cherokee warriors, enslaved runaways, or something far older. Science blamed it on car headlights or swamp gas. But David, he wasn't so sure anymore. The next morning, he met a hiker, older, eyes like fogged glass. The man told him about a creature called Mothman, a figure spotted in Point Pleasant in the 60s, tall, winged, with glowing red eyes. A week after the sightings, the Silver Bridge collapsed. Dozens died. They say he's a warning, the man told David. You see him, and something terrible follows. David smiled politely and moved on, but the story clung to him. That night he barely slept. The wind moaned like a wounded animal. Then, scratching. Soft at first, then firmer. Something was outside his tent. He held his breath, slowly unzipped the flap, but nothing was there. The next morning, he hiked further and stumbled upon something unexpected, an old cabin nearly buried in undergrowth. The roof sagged. The door hung open like a mouth caught mid-scream. Inside, he found carvings on the walls, names, dates, symbols. One stood out. 1891. That night, the forest whispered, not wind, whispers, and then came the voice, a child's cry, thin, distant. He remembered the story of Ottie Powell, a boy who went missing in 1891. They found his body miles away, frozen atop Bluff Mountain. Some hikers still hear his cries. David just became one of them. He didn't sleep again that night. Instead, he sat by the fire, listening. He played back a voice recording he made. There it was, a voice. Go home. He remembered other legends now, like the Bell Witch of Tennessee, who tormented an entire family, who whispered, clawed, screamed, who predicted death and brought it, or the Wampus Cat. Once a woman transformed by a curse, now she wandered the woods, half feline, half human. Her scream, a sound somewhere between a woman mourning and an animal on the hunt. David heard it once, distant, then closer, a cry that wasn't meant for human ears. Later, while exploring a moss-covered slope, he discovered symbols, etched faintly into stone. They matched what he'd seen in ancient Cherokee lore, the moon-eyed people, small, pale-skinned, nocturnal beings who once lived in the Appalachians, blinded by sunlight, driven underground, or so the stories go. Some say they never left. That night, something walked around his tent again. Then, it spoke. Not loudly, just enough. David. It knew his name. He didn't sleep. He didn't blink. He just waited for morning. When the sun rose, he found footprints outside his tent. Not animal, not human, something in between. On his final day, he packed in silence. He passed the old trail marker he'd carved his name into when he arrived. Only now, there were two names. His, and something he didn't recognize, etched deeper, older, like it had always been there. He didn't speak for days after returning home, but his friends said he was different, eyes distant, voice hollow, like he'd left part of himself behind. Maybe he had. Some things in the Appalachian Mountains cannot be explained. Some things don't want to be. So, if you ever find yourself walking through those ancient woods, stay on the path. Don't follow the lights. And if the forest starts whispering your name, don't answer. Thank you for listening. If you've heard stories of your own, share them below. And if you're brave enough, like and subscribe. Until next time, we'll be waiting.